Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is to continue with some more thoughts where we left off. There's one more thing I have to say, at least for now. We spoke about al-Arabiya, that she tu'ribu, the meaning of Arabiya, comes from this root, ayn raba, which has a meaning of clarity. And so a'raba means to give forth clarity, to make things clear, to manifest things. Because al-Arabiya, she is that which gives forth or makes forth clear these meanings, these hidden meanings, which are the ideas of God by which He created all things. And I might add here, that is the meaning of Kalimatullah. Let's put it in purple. The Kalimatullah. لا تبديل في كلمات الله. The words of God are eternal, never shall they change. What are these kalimat? And not are they kalimat as we speak them upon our tongues, these words, these auditory articulations, because God does not speak by sound and by ear, but the speech of God itself is eternal, being unspoken but always speaking. The words of God are these meanings, the sources of all reality, because they are the ideas of God. And al-Arabiya, she is the key and the connection to God, therefore, to things as they are. Now, I shall add here that this root, Ain Raba, connects to a deeper root. Because over here we have the ordering of Ain, Ra, and Ba. But this comes out, this is one particular ordering of these three root letters. It's like a trinity, if I can use that word, a trinity of letters, a fundamental triangular formation. And it is a deep mathematical mystery that triangles and triads underpin existence. One permutation, arrangement that is, of these letters is in Ain Ra Ba. Another, therefore also coming out from this deeper root, is if we flip these two letters around, we have Ain Ba Ra. And Abara has a basic meaning of crossing. عبرت الطريق. I crossed the path. Or عبرت الجسر. I crossed the bridge. عبرت النهر. I crossed the river. Crossing from one domain to another. So this is also a meaning of Arabiya. Inside of this Ain Raba meaning, there's a meaning of crossing, as also there is a meaning of revealing and making things clear. What is the connection between these two? Well, what's occurring here? For we said that the meanings of things pertain to the unseen world, what we call the alam, alam, alamul ghaib. But that the symbols which are spoken forth, these symbols of all things, that forms this seen world before us, the alamul shahada. And so we cross the worlds. By Al-Arabiya, by this cosmic vessel, we can cross between the world of the living to the world of the dead. But truly the world of the dead is the true world of the living. For we are dead. We are dead. In this dross of flesh, it is we who are dead. By Al-Arabiya, we cross between the planes of existence. That is Al-Arabiya understood again in this divine sense. One can learn Arabic or for whatever intention one wishes. As it is said in the hadith of intentions, the Prophet ﷺ said that an action is by its intention. If one makes hijrah for God and His Messenger, so he has made a hijrah. He has made this sacred pilgrimage and journey unto God and His Messenger. But one can make the same hijrah to get married or to earn a livelihood or for some worldly fame and glory. And so he will attain that. Everyone shall have exactly what he desires. If one learns Arabic merely to understand human speech, he will understand human speech. If he learns Arabic to become fluent, to become eloquent, to gain prestige, I'm sure he can attain that prestige. But if you want this Arabic, more than a physical tongue which we speak, but a spiritual tongue of the heart, by which we can see the light of God in things, our intention must be to attain that Arabic, which is not a physical Arabic, not a human Arabic, but God's Arabic, the Arabic of the Quran, the Kalimatullah. If that is our intention, then by the will of God, supreme, shall we attain that intention. And so by Al-Arabiya, we cross between the worlds. Abara. And so there is a meaning here. Another verb related is ab, I'll put it in black. Abbara. Abbara. Abbara, ta'bir. One meaning is interpretation. To do a ta'bir of a dream. Ta'bir al-ru'ya is to take the symbol. And cross over to its meaning. Let's put this over here as such. There is the symbol and there is a meaning. And so we have a dream. We see inside of us a dream. Symbols. A dream means not the outward aspect in which it manifests. We see ourselves, for example, visiting the Kaaba. We may see ourselves eating something or drinking something or even dying or killing. Does not mean that exact thing, but it has a meaning. We have seen meanings come to life in some forms. And so ta'bir, the art of crossing, is to cross from the dream world into the spiritual world, from symbol into meaning. But also, ta'bir and ibara can mean to give expression to meaning. We do ta'bir عن معنى أعبر عن معنى في نفسي, which has a similar meaning to i'rab. And that is therefore one meaning of i'rab, as we just said. To take meaning and cross forth from that meaning into the language of symbols. Because words, meanings, emotions, ideas are hidden. How can we express an idea? I love. Love is something ephemeral, hidden, infinite. How can I possibly express love? How can I possibly express beauty? How can I possibly express the meanings which are felt in my soul to the soul of another? When my soul is something spiritual and his soul is something spiritual, but we are separated by a space physical. But that is how. By this ta'bir, we can cross between the worlds, from the spiritual to the physical and from the physical to the spiritual. By this vessel and key of the Arabic language, al-Arabiya. Thus, we have this network, this matrix of interrelated concepts, of ta'bir, of ibara. Another word we see is ibra, ibra, which sometimes is loosely translated as a lesson, a parable, something by which we take heed. But let me leave this untranslated and go to another word, a very important one, which we shall see repeatedly in language, in grammar, and in other places. I'tabara, i'tabara. Perhaps this is best translated in English as consideration. I might give you a task now to pause the video and look up the meaning of consideration. What does it mean to consider something? Go back to the etymological root of this. I've done that myself, and consider comes from, it says, the Latin root of sidus, star, sidereal, star-like. To consider means to contemplate or to look at the constellation of stars. That is the root meaning of consider. Because the world as it presents itself to us is a matrix of symbols. The world itself is a constellation of stars. There are stars above us and there are stars within us. Lights without us and lights within us and before us. For there are the spiritual lights which shine in the sky, and there are spiritual lights, which are these meanings which also equally shine in the eye of the heart. That is what it means to consider something, to contemplate its symbols and understand its intricate relationships and how things are woven onto another thing. The interconnectedness of things. That is the meaning of consideration. And so, i'tabara means to consider, because abara means to cross, and i'tabara means to cross within oneself. This is the middle voice. If you watched my previous video, I explained what we mean by the middle voice. If ta'ala is the middle voice, to cross within oneself. And an ibra is that by which we do i'tibar. فاعتبروا يا أولي الألباب. So take ibra, consider, people of understanding. And these stars are the words of the Arabic language, the lights of meanings which shine. And the constellation of these stars is the Arabic language, how these words fit together into sentences. And the heavenly mindscape and expanse, the heavenly universe of all these stars is the Quran. Because stars become constellations. Constellations form galaxies. Galaxies are interconnected into one universe, one cosmos, and that is the Quran. Those are the surah of the Quran. and they the ayat of the Quran and the kalimat of the Quran, because the world is created in the image of the Quran. The Quran is the logos, the mindscape of God, the word upon which all things and by which all things were established. To learn the Quran is not merely to learn a book, but it is to learn the book of creation, and to learn the book of creation so to understand the Creator, so to become close to the Creator, so to become godly. Because godliness, taqwa, to become Rabbani, that is the reason for which man was created. That is the meaning of our lives. And I'm not saying that everyone must study and become a scholar of the Arabic language to do that. There are many paths in the world. In one tradition, there are as many paths to God as there are breaths of man. That is, each soul shall have its own path. But yet, the path of the faithful is through the study of Scripture, either by studying Scripture oneself or by associating oneself to the learned authorities of Scripture. But in any way, by learning the Word and establishing one's life upon the Word. And that is why we learn the Arabic language. And that is why we study the Quran, so that we may become, by the will of God, godly.